If you're stuck with a ton of debt and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to get out of it, you're in the right place because in this video, I'm going over the 5 ways to pay down your debt from the slowest all the way to the fastest. I was able to pay off $43,000 of debt in just 13 months using one of the strategies that I'll be talking about a little later on in the video. But you'll want to stay tuned for each one just in case you're doing one of the slower options. Bringing us to the slowest possible way to pay down your debt, which is not having a strategy. I know. Who would have thought that not having a strategy would have actually been a good strategy? Of course not. And this may come as a surprise to you, but many people have debt and no one seems to have a plan to pay it off. Okay, right, you weren't surprised about that, but here are some stats. The average American has $22,713 in debt, not even including mortgages, and 60% of the largest holding debt individuals, millennials and Gen X, don't even have a specific plan to pay it off. And the reason why you feel stuck in debt is because the interest that's attached to it. The only way to explain this is just by showing you. All right, so we're in the debt payment calculator. I've entered in some random information here. So we have credit card 1, credit card 2, personal loan, student loan. We have all the current balances, the interest rates, and the minimum payments for each, okay? This is sort of the input section on the calculator tab. You'll see here that we have $46,000 in debt, okay? And our minimum payment totals $615. Now, let's quickly talk about what no strategy exactly means. And when I say no strategy, I simply mean that we are paying minimum payments or less. That to me is no strategy, okay? So we're gonna scroll down here and you can see our minimum payment is $615. This row here where it says monthly payment, this is where we want to enter how much money we're applying towards the debt every single month. So in this example, we're going to assume that we're making minimum payments. This initial snowball section here is basically telling us how much extra money are we applying to our debt based on the amount that we're paying and our minimum. So right now, since we're paying our minimums, it's 0, okay? And by the way, if you like the look of this calculator, I'm going to tell you at the end of the video where you can find it. So we go down here to the strategy section. This is where the calculator starts to get a little more fun, okay? All of our creditor type is in here, right? So we have all of these, we have the balances, but now we're going to see some new information. We have potential interest paid for each of the line items, how many months it's going to take to pay off each of the line items, and then what is the date associated with those amount of months. So really quickly, we have $46,000 worth of debt. I'm recording this in 2025. And if we make our minimum payments every single month, it's going to take us 25 years to pay it off. But not only that, the interest that we will have to pay over that period is $142,000. So when you walk around and say that you have $46,000 of debt and everything's not as bad as you think, you actually have like $186,000 in debt because you're not considering this. This is why, in my humble opinion, while you should be at least making the minimum payments on your debt, to me, that's just not a strategy. And a little later on in the video, right, maybe number 4 and 5, we're going to talk through how just a little extra money can make huge, significant impact. Which brings us to the next fastest way to pay down debt, balance transfers. A balance transfer is when you move your credit card debt to a new card with lower interest rates. The goal is to save money on interest and pay down your debt a little faster. However, there are so many downsides to this, so let's just walk through a couple of them. First, this is my actual inbox, guys. I just typed in the word balance transfer and look at all of these freaking emails that I got from these companies on it. These companies know how great of a deal it is for them. So let's click into one and we'll find out why. Let's see, this is from Bank of America. Okay, so if we look down here, this is like the offer that they're trying to make us, right? Save on interest with 0% intro APR for 15 billing cycles for purchases and for any balance transfers made in the first 30 days. After the APR offer ends, the interest rate is going to be 18 to 28%. A 3% intro balance transfer fee for the first 60 days your account is open will apply. After the intro balance transfer fee ends, the fee for future balance transfers is 4%. Fee. If we had a nickel for every time those 3 sentences said the word fee, we would be absolutely rich. But basically what was happening there was you have 15 months with 0% interest, right? That's how they hook you in. And after that, the interest rate will likely go above 20%. It said 18 to 28, so it's likely going to be over 20%. You'll pay a 3% fee after 60 days. And then if you want to do a balance transfer again, you get a 4% fee at the back end of all of it. And if you can't tell already, I hate balance transfers. Now, if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments of this video. I'd be happy to have a discussion. But if your habits haven't changed, this is going to be a trap for many people. And in the long run, nothing's really going to change. To use an extreme example, I compare this to getting liposuction where the person goes in for the procedure but doesn't have a plan on the back end to change their lifestyle. Yes, the immediate reward is obvious, but if you continue to go back to pizza and birthday cake, then nothing's going to change in the long run, and you'll be right back where you were. Same with the debt, okay? If you haven't changed your habits in personal finances, you'll continue to stay in debt, you'll continue to go in debt, and then it's going to be a revolving door of catching the next balance transfer, trying to avoid the interest when you should have just been trying to actually pay off the debt the whole time. It's a fake short-term gain with long-term risks. Which brings me to the next fastest way to pay down debt: consolidation loans. A debt consolidation loan is basically a personal loan that combines all of the debts that you have into one loan. This could be helpful if you have double-digit loans and multiple high interest rates. We're talking 20-25% interest rates. And you could get an advantage by lowering your average interest rate by doing this. It's way safer than balance transfers, in my opinion. We already went through that, right? We already know how I feel about that. And if you can go from 12 loans averaging, say, 20% to one loan averaging 10% interest, then that's a win. I would see that. It's a good but not great option, only because you're solving your debt problem by getting another loan. Not much more to say on that, but before we get into the 2 fastest ways to pay down your debt, I wanted to let you know about my free course and community called Dollar Discipline University. In there, I'm helping people unlearn the current money habits that they already have, rebuild them back up the right way so that we can eventually pay off the debt more efficiently. Not only are there the tools in there like the debt payment calculator, but also the training, the strategies, and the accountability to make sure that this year is your best year for personal finances. And right now, I'm offering free strategy calls for all new members that join until my calendar fills up. So that's school.com/debt. The link is down in the description, and that takes us to the next fastest way to pay down debt, the debt snowball method. With this strategy, we want to prioritize our debts from the smallest loan to the largest loan. The benefit here is you're likely going to get a nice psychological boost as you keep knocking off the small loans one at a time. And this is the exact strategy that my wife and I used to pay off the $43,000 of debt in 13 months. At the time, to be honest, we didn't even know that it was really a strategy. We just saw that we had 12 loans, don't recommend it by the way, and 4 of them were $1,200 or less. So we were looking at it like, wouldn't it be pretty cool if we were able to knock off these 4 in a few months, whatever it was, and that way we would have, only 8 left, so we would knock off 1/3 of our loans pretty quickly. But let's see what this strategy looks like in the debt payment calculator. All right, guys, we're back inside the calculator. So we are talking debt snowball. Quick recap, right? We have our input section up here, and you can see the strategy section, which I did not talk about before. In here is where we can select the debt snowball method. Great. So we're going to pick that. And as you can see, it's prioritizing, the calculator's prioritizing the debts from our smallest loan to our largest loan, right? So up here, we entered it like this. And I didn't do this intentionally, but we basically did it largest to smallest loan balance. And over here, it's sort of flipped. So now the student loan, which was $7K, the lowest is first, and we're going to prioritize this. So as I mentioned, you're going to get a faster win with this strategy. Now, the smallest loan in this example is still going to take us 134 months to pay off. And again, that's because we are not being very aggressive with this minimum payment. So let's just see for a second, if we were to add, I don't know, just to say an extra $100, could you commit to putting an extra $100 toward your debt? So what's going to happen here? I'm going to hit enter. These numbers are going to change down here. So keep an eye on our interest was $142,000 and our debt-free date was September 2050. Boom, I hit enter, and now just an extra $100 using the snowball method. Our interest went down like whatever that number is, $80,000. I have to go back because it was so high. Yeah, almost $80,000, $75,000, and like 12 years of being in debt just for an extra $100. Now you can see what it also did here, since it's again prioritizing the smallest loan. Instead of 130 something months to pay this off, it's now 46. So now our first loan is going to be paid off in 3 years instead of 10, whatever it was, right? So very, very powerful, but stay tuned to the end of where you can actually download this for yourself. Leading us right into the fastest way to pay down debt, winning the lottery. That's right. You can't win if you don't play. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. The fastest way to pay down your debt is with the debt avalanche method. With this strategy, you're going to prioritize your debts in order of highest interest rate down to lowest interest rate. This is going to be the fastest way to pay down your debt because since interest is such a killer and the debt avalanche method is attacking the highest interest, we're getting rid of the biggest problems right off the bat. And actually, the majority of people that I coach in their personal finances, they use this strategy because more likely than not, they have a credit card debt that's over 20%. So it makes a ton of sense math wise for them to use this method. But enough talking about it. Let's just go into the calculator and see what it looks like. All right, guys, last time we're in here, we're talking about the debt avalanche method. So in the strategy section here, very exciting, we can change it to the avalanche method. Now, you're going to see the information on this change because the order is going to change. Now, it's prioritizing the highest interest rates first. So if we go back up here, it should be prioritizing credit card 1, credit card 2, personal loan, student loan, right? And that's the order that we have it here. I've put the minimum payment back to $615, so the amount that we're paying every single month. And before I, add the extra $100 and show you how powerful it is with the avalanche method, because there is going to be a difference from the snowball to the avalanche, I want to show you what it looks like just making the minimum payments, okay? So if we look here, avalanche method 119, August 2047, I'm going to switch to the snowball to see what it was again, 142, September 2050. So even just with the minimum payment, in this case, the avalanche method would probably be better for the math, again, because we have a couple higher interest rates where the balances are a little higher, okay? So let's apply the same magic. I feel like Vanna White here where I'm about to reveal some special letters behind the board here, but we're going to add an extra $100 to this, the power of $100. Now that you see how powerful it is, can you please try and commit to finding an extra $100 in your finances to make this happen? I'm going to hit enter. I want you to check out the interest paid and the debt-free date changing on the bottom. The avalanche method was even way more extreme than the snowball method. This is crazy. So the total interest paid now in the debt avalanche is now $37,000 and our debt-free date is in 2034. So if we just pivot back to the snowball, we're saving $30,000 just from using the correct strategy and 4 years, okay? In this example, the debt avalanche method is way better. If you're interested in checking out the debt payment calculator, in my free course and community, Dollar Discipline University, I have all these tools. Everything's free inside of that community, including my time. Okay, so school.com/debt. The link is down in the description. I'll see you in there. Now that you sorted out which debt payment strategy you think is best for you, and you saw just how a little bit more money every single month can make such a huge impact when paying down your debt, you're probably asking, this is great and all, but how the heck do I find more money in my finances to be able to do this? In this video, I'm going to show you the 7 simple steps that you can take to build a perfect budget to find more money in your finances without getting a second job, without getting a side hustle, without selling a weird thing on eBay. I'll see you on the other side.